Okay, so behind me right now is actually playing video from a demo on mesh shading that was released over 2 years ago. I believe this was in December of 2018 and was now announced as a amazing new feature that came along with, I think, Nvidia's RTX cards. But we have not seen real implementations of this until now. It is now actually out live in the wild. And by the way, before any of you guys jump on the fact that I'm like, this is an Nvidia thing, this is not just an Nvidia thing, okay? Not just an Nvidia thing. But what is it in the first place, and why has it taken so long, and is it still that big of a deal? Well, let me actually pause right here for a second and make myself smaller so I'm out of your way. So mesh shading is basically the idea that you can generate, and by the way, I am not a graphics engineer of any kind. I'm a math teacher who likes video games and talking about tech in my hobby spare time. But so I've researched this, I've read a lot about it, but feel free to correct me in the comments if you think I did make any mistakes. But I think I've got at least a basic conceptual understanding of what's going on here. So you can throw in a model that has a huge number of triangles. Now, normally having a huge number of triangles is going to make something look good, but then be hard to process. The idea here is that you can now establish different levels of detail that you'll use at different areas. Now, this is not the same thing as tessellation. That's what I kind of thought was going on here, but this is not tessellation, so this is a different thing. So you have different levels of detail depending on your distance you are from the object, and basically what I understand the mesh pipeline to be doing is, in a much more efficient manner, taking a image that has a gigantic number of triangles in it and only actually having to do any processing on the number that are actually useful for the on-screen image that you're trying to display. And so if you did this with a good number of levels of detail, along with your having a huge number to begin with, and you set this up in the right way, then your GPU is having to do much less work and is able to then, the game can then support many more triangles in the image itself. So when you get close to the object, it's still gonna look amazing. Okay, so that's what it is, and that's what this video, I could play it again a little bit more, is trying to demonstrate here. There's no, the colors here behind me are showing the different levels of detail an object is at. And so you can see that it's rendering in a different number of triangles based on the distance you are from it. That's what's going on here. Again, this is not doing tessellation. It's just able to filter out the triangles that aren't needed at the distance you are from it and reduce the workload on the GPU while increasing the image quality. Cool, neat, but this came out in 2018. What happened? Why have we not seen it? Well, for one thing, again, at first, this required a GPU that could support it, and that was just the 20 series Nvidia RTX cards. And now, again, the 30 series supports them. But with the launch of AMD's 6000 series cards, AMD also supports this. And this is not, again, this is an Nvidia demo. Like, it's got the Nvidia logo here. But this is not an Nvidia-specific technology. This is a core element of DirectX 12 Ultimate. So any GPU that supports this, and it does not have to be Nvidia, and the AMD cards do support it now, can take advantage of this. So if we pop over to when I said that, okay, this demoed forever ago, well, a few days ago, over on the NVIDIA developer blog, we got this post on May 21st, talking about realistic lighting and justice with mesh shading, and I was interested to see that in this game, Justice, which is some kind of MMO, I don't play it, I don't know anything about it, but it has been a game where the developers work closely with NVIDIA to introduce a lot of their technology. I believe it was one of the first games to support ray tracing and DLSS and that kind of a thing. Don't completely quote me on that, but I believe I did read that in one of these articles as I went. But the point is, they are now supporting this mesh shader. And I believe it's the first game to do so that I've run into. And so what that can do is, apparently they're claiming the performance they can get here is not only can they support 1.8 billion triangles, which is a lot, That's the technical term, a lot. Okay, but that's running at over 60 frames per second in 4K on an Nvidia 3060 Ti. They're not saying that's using DLSS. Again, this is an Nvidia blog post, so who knows if there's any, fishiness happening here. You've got to read something coming straight from Nvidia with a certain amount of grain of salt. They're going to try to present themselves in the best light possible, obviously. But, okay, so why haven't we seen more of this? In addition to the hardware support, it sounds like they had to do a lot of work to change the way that the geometry pipeline works in a game. And that takes a lot of effort and time to figure out how it does work. But I'm really interested by how effective they feel like that this was able to work. I believe that he even claimed, again, this was a interview with the engineer who was in charge of this on this team, saying what they thought about it. And somewhere in here, I think he said that they believe that this is going to become the mainstream for how this is done. I'm actually going to search for mainstream. There we go. That was the quote I was looking for. With so much potential of mesh shader, we conceive that it would be the mainstream of future games. So that's a big claim. They're saying that this is the way things are going, that mesh shading is going to be a big deal. And what I'm again excited to see is that this is not just an NVIDIA exclusive type of technology. Now, I will link this post in the description to my video because I do not want to sit here and read this entire interview to you. I think that wouldn't be the most exciting video in the world, and if you want to go into that much depth, please go ahead and find the description to my video down there and find this link and take a look at that. And yeah, I just think this is very interesting, a cool tech. I love to see developments in this space, especially with just new techniques, not just getting us faster hardware, faster GPUs, but better and more efficient ways to handle things, which I think is very exciting. What do you guys think about this? Are we going to start seeing mesh shading all over the place? Are you excited about this technology? Let me know in the comment section. I do read all of the comments on my channel. I respond to as many as I can, and I appreciate all of my subscribers and people commenting on the videos and all of that. It's fun. I just do this as a hobby because I like talking about all this stuff, and YouTube's a great place for me to do that. I hope you guys have an excellent day.